This video is not financial advice. Welcome to tracking my Bitcoin portfolio, day 42. I own the same amount of Bitcoin, but it's now worth $29,209.26, which is down $865.44 since yesterday. Now I'm going to go into these comments. Okay, this person said, "How old are you?" I am 21 years old. Thank you for your comment. This person said, "Besides your job and YouTube, what are other ways to accrue Bitcoin that you use?" Basically just my job and YouTube. Like I did have like a couple other assets that I sold to buy more Bitcoin. So sometimes I sell things to buy more Bitcoin, but I've gotten most of my Bitcoin just from my job. And then a little bit, I've made a little bit of money from YouTube. So that's basically it. I don't have any secret trick or secret thing to do. Like the best way from what I've learned to make money is just go to a job. And I know that that's not like a popular opinion. Like a lot of people want to start a successful business, but the reality is that at a job, it's guaranteed income. So you're able to utilize your time in a very effective way because you know that you're going to make a specific amount of money on this time because it's guaranteed. But if you start a business, it's obviously not guaranteed and you're taking on risk. Obviously, there's potential higher returns, but there's a trade-off, and I would say that just working at a job is like really effective. That's what, just from my opinion though. So yeah, working at a job, and I've made a little bit of money from YouTube. But thank you for your comment. This person said, "Can you?" Yes, I can. Thank you for your comment. And then this person sent me a video. What do you make of this kind of thing? I wasn't expecting so soon. It feels dystopian. So the video was like a bunch of robots that they are making in China, and the robots actually did look like pretty effective. Like they weren't just like falling over, like they seemed to be moving around pretty well. I'm not going to show you the video because I don't want it to be copyright, but you could go to day 41 and click on the video. But what my thoughts are on it is I do believe that AI in robotics, is a huge, thing that's gonna come in the future. I still believe that we're not totally there yet. Like I know there are robots that we have. You've seen probably videos of them like boxing and like walking around. But the reality is that like if you wanted a robot in your house to actually help you with specific things, like we're not really there yet. We're definitely not there yet, and I believe it's going to take a little bit longer than what the media is saying or what people is saying, because you have to remember that the media is a little bit clickbait. They just want people to click on their videos, so they're going to, they're going to make it out to be a little bit more than what it actually is. But eventually, it will get to a point where like we can have robots like in your house actually helping you with specific tasks, like doing like the dishes, and then it's not just the dishes, it can also do something else as well. That's the hard part, is having a robot that can do different things, like not just one specific thing. And so we're not there yet, but I believe that we will get there eventually. I'm not sure when, but I believe eventually we will. And what do I make of that video? It's hard to say. Like it's easy for me to be like, yeah, this is not good. Robots are gonna take over. But then, like maybe there could actually be benefits as well. So I would say like it might be a good thing, but in the very long term, like if we're talking like 100 years from now, 200 years from now, it could be a bad thing if robots get to a point where they look just like us and it's hard to differentiate if that's a human or a robot. That's when it starts to get more complex and more dangerous, because I personally don't believe that AI can become conscious. A lot of people think that AGI can become conscious, but how I view it is that AGI can only pretend to be conscious. Okay. And I know that we haven't like created this yet, but like I'm just talking like 100 years from now, like if AGI is possible, or sorry, if well, AGI, from my understanding, is when AI becomes conscious. So I don't believe that's possible, but I believe that it'll be able to replicate a personality. So you'll have a robot that will look like it has a personality. Like, it looks like kind of like ChatGPT. It'll pretend to have a like discussion with you and pretend to understand what you're saying. But I believe that it's just pretending and that it's not actually conscious. But this gets into a really complex debate, many different videos on this. So like it gets to a point where it's like if you can't differentiate it being conscious, then isn't it just conscious? I would still argue no, because it's not actually possible for it to be conscious. It's just replicating consciousness very effectively. But like it's hard to say though. It's hard to say. So, but when that happens, that could cause problems. That could definitely cause problems. But as of right now, I think it's interesting, and I think there could be definitely some benefits. But it probably could go down like a really slippery slope. But it's interesting though. It's definitely very interesting. So I'll definitely keep up with these types of videos. Like, I'm definitely interested in this type of topic. And then you also said this kind of thing I wasn't expecting so soon. It feels dystopian. It does a little bit. Actually, I would recommend you guys to go watch this video. Like, some of the robots, the way that they were moving, the way that it was running, it looks like pretty like human in a way. So it's very interesting. But thank you for your comment. This person said, I believe in the future of Bitcoin a lot, but we have been swinging sideways a lot, even for Bitcoin's ETFs, MSTR buying a lot. And after the US Crypto Clarity Act, we are still just 80K BTC. I think it should be a lot higher. Why do you think that is? And how do you see the future of BTC? So I would say this, like, that's how it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be easy to predict the market. Like, just because this specific thing is happening, you can't predict the market. I said this in my last video. There are many complex things happening all at once that change the Bitcoin price. So it may seem like, okay, MS strategy is buying a lot of Bitcoin, so the price should be going higher. But it's not. It's not that simple. If it were that simple, everyone would be a billionaire. But that's not possible. There has to be resistance. Okay, that's how the universe works, right? Like, not everyone can be a billionaire because there's not enough money around for that to happen. So there has to be some type of resistance. There has to be some type of thing stopping that from happening. And that's just how the universe works. So basically, you don't try and predict the market. Don't try and look at specific things. It's too complex, and you could get lost really quickly, and it's not a good route to go down, in my opinion. And then I'll just read it over again, see if I missed anything. Why do you think that is, and how do you see the future of Bitcoin? Yeah, I don't know why Bitcoin's staying where it is right now. I have no idea. All I know is that Bitcoin is scarce. There's a finite amount. It's divisible, it's decentralized, it's fungible, it's immutable, and I believe that that can be used as a global monetary network. So all I can do is look at the properties of Bitcoin and look at the society that we currently live in, look at fiat currency, look at how the government is debasing the currency, look at how a lot of people are investing in other assets to avoid the debasement of fiat currency. So what happens if there's just a global monetary network, so you don't have to put all of your money into real estate? Instead of rich people putting all their money into real estate, they can just put it into a global monetary network. So Bitcoin should dematerialize investments that are being used as money, because now we actually have a sound and fair money. And also, the natural state of the economy is deflationary, so money should become more valuable when represented in Bitcoin. But those are just a couple reasons. But it's hard to say. Like, I would just say, be patient over a long period of time, and Bitcoin's properties don't change. Like, Bitcoin is going to be scarce 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. So just ride that out. Just ride that scarcity out over a long period of time. And if I happen to be wrong, then I was wrong, and I would admit that. But I would say you have to wait over a long period of time, and that's the only thing you can do. And then you also said, how do you see the future of BTC? Yeah, I would say Bitcoin's the safest possible investment with the highest possible returns. I believe that Bitcoin is the hurdle rate. If you can't beat it, you have to join it. For example, if you're running let's say you go and start a business, but you're making less than on average what the Bitcoin is returning. It's like, why are you spending all of your time and energy on this specific business if you can just invest it into Bitcoin? You don't even have to do anything, and Bitcoin goes up more than what your business would have generated in revenue or what your business is worth. So things like that. Like if you can't beat it, you join it. And that leads to obviously Bitcoin growing because it leads to people who have jobs just putting their money into a global monetary network, and people who don't want to take on unnecessary risk just putting it into Bitcoin because it allows you to have more time. Like instead of having to go and focus on a specific business, if it's not really working out for you, then you can just put your money into Bitcoin and then focus on something else. But if you do happen to have a really interesting business idea, then maybe you can get higher returns than what the Bitcoin price gives on average. So I'm not saying, like there are some instances where maybe you could go and take on a little bit more risk because there's a specific opportunity and you can take a calculated risk and potentially get higher returns than what the Bitcoin would give on average. So that's what I would say. But I would say long like self-custody Bitcoin, prioritize security, hold it long term. That's my strategy. And we'll see if I'm right or wrong. We'll see if I'm right or wrong. But thank you for your comment. You also commented, and I struggle to understand how can we use BTC if there are not new ones created. For example, let's say I have one BTC and I use it for groceries, buying a car, etc. At a certain point, I won't have any BTC. What will happen then, and how do you look at that? I mean, like when you use BTC to purchase something, the Bitcoin doesn't disappear. It's just traded within the economy. So the Bitcoin doesn't disappear. It just works as money. Like I give you something, now have the Bitcoin, and then you give it to someone else for a specific service. So the Bitcoin's not disappearing. But if you're talking about people like losing their private keys and losing access to their Bitcoin, there's only a scarce amount of Bitcoin. So in the future, like the supply of Bitcoin would go down because people are losing their coins. But I would say that since Bitcoin is divisible, the value that's lost will just be attributed to the smaller units of Bitcoin, if that makes sense. Like since Bitcoin's divisible, like each Bitcoin's divisible by 100 million. Those smaller units are called Satoshis. So if people are losing Bitcoin, it's not like we're gonna run out of Bitcoin. Since Bitcoin's divisible, more value can just be attributed to the smaller units. Okay, and then I'll read it over one more time to see if I missed anything. Also, right here, you said if there are no new ones created, there are like Bitcoin's mined. Like there's the block reward. That's roughly every like 10 minutes. A block is mined, and then there's a block reward. But the maximum supply of Bitcoin is 21 million. But the block reward gets halved every 4 years, and eventually it goes to zero. And I think the end is around like 2,140 is around there. But yeah, like there's so Bitcoins are being created kinda, but yes, the max supply is 21 million. So I believe that since Bitcoin is divisible, if there's any Bitcoins that are lost, like if people forget their seed phrase, like over a long period of time, there's going to be people that lose their Bitcoin. But I would argue that since Bitcoin's divisible, the value will just be attributed to the smaller units. And I think it's also possible for there to be a protocol change to make Satoshis even more divisible. I think that's actually possible as well. I'm not like too technical. I can't explain everything about that, but as of right now, Bitcoin is divisible by 100 million, which is a lot of units, which is good. That's what you want. You want a currency to be divisible. So yeah, I hope I answered your question, but Thank you for your comment. There's also another question right here. It didn't show up in the like general comments. Sometimes YouTube doesn't show me all the comments. So if I ever miss your comment, it's not because I avoided it. It's just because YouTube sometimes doesn't show me all of them. So just to let you guys know. But this person said, what kind of YouTube analytics on the average person's age do you have? It's mostly 25 to 34-year-olds and 35 to 44-year-olds. That was around 90% was in that age range. So most people who are, really interested in, like money, interested in probably trying to buy a house, start a family, those it's tend to be those people, the people that are like really kind of interested in money, like like starting their career or in their career. So people who are kind of like interested in money. And then you also said, what about the IRS watching these videos and taxing you? So whenever you hear me say I don't plan on paying taxes, I don't plan on paying taxes on my Bitcoin. I'm talking about capital gains taxes. Capital gains taxes are when you go to sell your Bitcoin for fiat. In most circumstances, there are certain instances where it's if you don't sell your Bitcoin, you're still supposed to pay taxes, but that's not in my country. Like there are some countries that are doing weird laws like that. But where I live, okay, it's if you sell your Bitcoin, you have to pay capital gains taxes. Okay. So when I say I don't plan on paying taxes, I'm talking about capital gains taxes, but I'm not saying that I'm going to break the law. I'm simply saying that I'm going to hold on to my Bitcoin and then in the future move to a different country that has better laws around Bitcoin, and then I'll be able to sell the Bitcoin and not pay taxes. So I'm not saying I'm going to break the law. Okay, everything I say is within the law where I live. But when I say I don't plan on paying taxes, I mean I'm gonna hold on to my Bitcoin for now. I'm not gonna sell it, which I'm allowed to do, and then I'm gonna in the future move to a different country where they have better laws around Bitcoin and where there aren't capital gains taxes, and then sell my Bitcoin within those new laws where I'm working with. So I'm always going to follow the law. I just plan on moving to different locations that have laws that benefit me. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not breaking any laws now. I'm not selling my Bitcoin now because I would have to pay capital gains taxes, and I don't plan on doing that. So I hope that makes that clear. I'm not breaking the law. I plan on moving to a different country and working within the new law of the new country. Okay. So yeah, thank you for your comment though. This person, oh sorry, this is how much money I made from my chess YouTube channel on May 13th, $12.40. So just keep on making chess videos. Just keep on making chess videos, be consistent. I'm almost at a rating of 2,300 in bullet chess, which is pretty good. So, but yeah, just keep consistency. Okay, and then I have this question for you guys. Is Bitcoin's volatility behind us? I'll let you think about that. Time's up. No. Okay. Bitcoin is going to be, in my opinion, it's going to be a roller coaster. It's going to be crazy. I'm talking Bitcoin's going to be at like, 500,000 and it's going to crash to like 200,000. It's going to be at 1 million. It's going to crash down 500,000. Like it is going to be like so volatile. It's going to be crazy in my opinion. So that's why I like having this channel, is because I can just track my portfolio, and then I'm up 20,000, I'm down 40,000, and then people will kind of be interested, like, okay, like this guy's down 40,000 since yesterday. People will be interested, and if this channel is monetized, then I make money, and then I can invest more money back into Bitcoin. But there's another interesting thing you guys should think about though, is that so let's just say that this channel is monetized, okay? I have a lot of money in Bitcoin. And let's just say that Bitcoin crashes by 30% in a day, okay? And then I make a video. And then since Bitcoin has crashed by so much, a lot of people are gonna be interested in watching that video, because by then a lot of people are going to know kind of who I am in the videos I make. So they're going to see Bitcoin crash and they're going to go and watch my video. Okay, so because Bitcoin is crashing, so then I'm going to be making more money in that specific moment because Bitcoin is crashing. So it's almost like people watching my video is offsetting that loss in that moment. Isn't that interesting? Like I'm in this specific moment, I'm losing money, but that causes people to go and watch the video. So then I'm making money. Now, obviously it takes time for me to get paid out, but eventually I will get, paid out. So it's like offsetting the loss a little bit. And if Bitcoin goes up, then like people are also going to watch the video. So it's just very, I think it's just interesting. I think it's a great idea. Like I still think this is a great idea. Yeah. So yeah, that just wanted to let you guys know that. Okay, now I'm going to go to my ROM investing. So I'm at 208 subscribers. I need to get to 1,000 and 4,000 watch hours within 365 days. So please, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe so I can accomplish this goal of monetizing this channel. Once I monetize this channel, I'm basically monetizing my Bitcoin portfolio. So yeah, getting to 1,000 subscribers is kind of the goal here. But after that, the 4,000 watch hours within 365 days, that's going to be difficult. That's definitely going to be difficult. And I almost forgot. I have to show you guys this. So this is you can donate to me. There should be a QR code. You can donate to me. It's only the Lightning Network though. And this person, he donated 6,161 Satoshis. So thank you very much, whoever you are. You're an absolute legend. I appreciate that a lot. These people donated to me yesterday, so that's why I'm not saying these ones, but this one is a new one. I'll click on it. There's no notes. This is just like an automatic note that it says. So thank you to whoever you are. Thank you for donating. I appreciate that, and I'll keep trying to make these videos and improve them as best as I can. And then yeah, I don't really have anything else to say for today. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one.